Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went there? Maybe you've picked up your phone, only to realize you have no idea what you were about to do. Or perhaps you were telling a story to your grandchildren, and suddenly the word you wanted simply disappeared. Most people smile, shrug their shoulders, and blame it on getting older. After all, isn't that just part of aging? But what if it isn't that simple? What if some of those frustrating memory slips aren't just caused by your age, but by everyday habits that quietly affect your brain over months and years? Habits so common, millions of people repeat them every single day, without realizing what they may be doing to their long-term brain health. Here's the encouraging news. Research suggests that our brains continue to adapt throughout life, and many lifestyle choices can help support healthy cognitive aging. That means it's never too late to make positive change. Today's video isn't about fear, it's about hope. It's about understanding which daily habits may be working against you and learning simple, practical alternatives that can help support your memory and overall brain health. And be sure to stay until the very end, because I'll share a simple 2-minute morning routine that brings together several of today's tips into one easy habit. It requires no expensive supplements, no special equipment, and no complicated exercises, just 2 minutes. Those 2 minutes could become one of the healthiest investments you make in yourself every day. Your memory is more than remembering facts. It's remembering your wedding day, the first time you held your child, the smell of your mother's cooking, the stories that only you can tell. Those memories are part of who you are. They connect generations. They remind us where we've been and help shape where we're going. That's why taking care of your brain isn't simply about preventing forgetfulness. It's about protecting your independence, your confidence, and your ability to continue enjoying the people and experiences that matter most. Now, let's be clear about something important. Occasionally forgetting a name or misplacing your glasses does not automatically mean dementia. Many factors can affect memory, including stress, poor sleep, medications, and normal aging. However, scientists have identified several everyday habits that may influence how our brains age over time. The wonderful part? Many of those habits are completely within our control. Small improvements made consistently often matter far more than dramatic changes that only last a week. So let's begin with one of the simplest habits and one of the easiest to improve. Habit number 1, not drinking enough water. Imagine waking up every morning feeling just a little tired. Nothing severe, just slower. You struggle to focus. You lose your train of thought more often. By the afternoon, you feel mentally exhausted. Many people assume this is simply what life after 60 feels like, but sometimes the explanation is surprisingly simple. As we age, our bodies naturally contain less water than they did when we were younger. Even more importantly, our sense of thirst gradually becomes weaker. That means many older adults don't realize they're becoming dehydrated until their bodies are already running low on fluids. Research has shown that even mild dehydration can temporarily affect attention, concentration, and short-term memory. Think of your brain like a beautiful garden. Without enough water, even the healthiest plants begin to droop. Your brain is no different. Every cell depends on proper hydration to function efficiently. Fortunately, this is also one of the easiest habits to improve. Start each morning with a full glass of water before reaching for your coffee or tea. Keep a reusable water bottle nearby throughout the day. If plain water isn't appealing, try adding slices of lemon, cucumber, or fresh mint for flavor. And if your doctor has recommended limiting fluids because of a medical condition, always follow their advice instead. It may seem like a tiny change, but tiny changes repeated every day often produce the biggest results over time. But here's something many people don't realize. You can drink all the water in the world and still wake up feeling mentally foggy. Why? Because the next habit affects something your brain desperately needs every single night. A remarkable cleaning system that only becomes active while you sleep. And once you understand how it works, you may never look at bedtime the same way again. Habit number 2, poor quality sleep. Let me ask you something. When you wake up in the morning, do you actually feel rested? Or do you feel like your brain is still half asleep, even after spending 7 or 8 hours in bed? Many people think sleep is simply a time when the body shuts down, but your brain tells a completely different story. Your brain never really sleeps. While you're sleeping, your brain is incredibly busy. It sorts through memories, strengthens important connections, removes unnecessary information, and during deep sleep, it activates an amazing system that scientists call the glymphatic system. Think of it as your brain's overnight cleaning crew. Throughout the day, your brain produces waste products, just like every other organ in your body. During deep sleep, cerebrospinal fluid helps wash away many of those waste products, allowing your brain to wake up feeling refreshed and ready for a new day. But here's the problem. That cleaning process works best when you get enough deep, uninterrupted sleep. If you're waking up several times each night, falling asleep with the television on, checking your phone every few minutes, or staying awake long past midnight, your brain may not get the restorative sleep it needs. Researchers have found that consistently poor sleep is associated with reduced attention, slower thinking, and a higher risk of cognitive decline later in life. Now, this doesn't mean one bad night's sleep is harming your brain. We've all had restless nights. The concern is when poor sleep becomes your normal routine. Meet Robert. He's 68. After retiring, he stopped following a regular schedule. Some nights he watched television until 1 in the morning. Other nights he fell asleep in his recliner before moving to bed. He thought retirement meant he could sleep whenever he wanted. But after several months, he noticed something changing. He struggled to remember appointments. He felt unusually irritable. Reading the newspaper became harder because he couldn't stay focused. His doctor suggested something surprisingly simple. Create a consistent bedtime routine. Go to bed at the same time. Wake up at the same time. Reduce screen time before bed. Within a few weeks, Robert noticed something remarkable. He wasn't just sleeping better. He was thinking more clearly. His energy improved. His mood improved. Even his family noticed the difference. What you can do tonight. The good news is, improving sleep doesn't require expensive gadgets. Small habits often make the biggest difference. Try this simple evening routine. Better sleep checklist. Turn off screens at least 30 minutes before bed. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. Avoid heavy meals late at night. Limit caffeine later in the day. Read something relaxing instead of scrolling social media. Go to bed and wake up at the same time, even on weekends. These small habits send a powerful message to your brain. It's time to rest. And over time, your brain begins responding naturally. But here's something that surprised researchers. Even if you're drinking enough water, even if you're sleeping well, there is one habit that millions of retirees unknowingly repeat every single day. A habit that may quietly reduce blood flow to the very part of your brain responsible for memory. The surprising part? Most people think they're doing nothing wrong. They're simply sitting. Before we continue, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits has surprised you the most so far? Was it dehydration? Or learning that your brain actually cleans itself while you sleep? Share your answer in the comments below. Not only do I read your comments, but your experiences often help other viewers realize they're not alone. And if you're enjoying this video, please take just 1 second to subscribe. Every week we share practical, science-based tips to help you stay healthy, active, and independent for years to come. Now, let's talk about the habit that shocked researchers the most. Habit number 3, sitting too much. Imagine this: you wake up, you enjoy breakfast, read the newspaper, watch television, drive to the grocery store, come home, sit down again, have dinner, watch another movie. Before you know it, you've spent 10, maybe even 12 hours sitting. Sound familiar? You're certainly not alone. Modern life has made sitting incredibly easy, but our brains and bodies weren't designed to stay still for hours at a time. The hidden cost of sitting. Here's something researchers discovered that surprised many people. It's not only exercise that matters, it's how often you move throughout the day. One study found that people who spent long periods sitting had changes in the part of the brain involved in forming new memories. Even regular exercise may not completely offset the effects of sitting for long, uninterrupted stretches. Think about that for a moment. One 30-minute walk is wonderful, but if you spend the remaining 10 hours sitting, your brain still misses out on something it needs: movement. Every time you stand up, your heart pumps a little harder. Fresh oxygen reaches your brain, blood flow increases, your body wakes up, and so does your mind. A simple habit that can change everything. The good news? You don't need to run a marathon. You don't need an expensive gym membership. In fact, one of the healthiest things you can do is also one of the easiest. Simply stand up every 30 to 45 minutes. Walk around your house, stretch your shoulders, march in place for 1 minute, water your plants, walk to the mailbox, look outside for fresh air. Those tiny movement breaks may seem insignificant, but over months and years, they add up in remarkable ways. James is 73. He used to spend most afternoons watching television. His smartwatch started reminding him to stand every hour. At first, he ignored it. Eventually, he decided to listen. Every hour, he walked around his living room for just 2 minutes. Within a month, he noticed something unexpected. He had more energy. His legs felt stronger. He even found himself remembering little things more easily, like where he'd left his reading glasses. Was standing alone responsible? Probably not. But combined with better sleep, better hydration, and healthier eating, those small improvements began working together. That's the secret. Healthy brains aren't built by one giant decision. They're built by hundreds of small ones. Now, if you think sitting too much is surprising, the next habit is even more powerful. In fact, researchers have found that one invisible problem can affect your brain almost as much as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. No, it's not a disease. It's something millions of older adults quietly experience without ever talking about it: loneliness. And what scientists have discovered about it may completely change the way you think about friendships after retirement. Habit number 4, social isolation, the silent threat to your brain. Imagine spending an entire day without having a meaningful conversation with another person. No laughter, no stories, no phone call, no one asking, "How are you doing today?" For many older adults, this isn't imagination, it's everyday life. Retirement arrives, the children move away, friends relocate, some loved ones pass on, and before you know it, the conversations that once filled your days become fewer and fewer. At first, the silence feels peaceful, but over time, it can become something much heavier: loneliness. And here's what many people don't realize. Loneliness doesn't just affect your emotions, it affects your brain. The brain is a social organ. Human beings have always lived in communities. For thousands of years, our survival depended on communicating with one another, sharing stories, teaching, learning, laughing, working together. Every conversation exercises your brain. When you listen, your memory is active. When you tell a story, your brain retrieves information. When someone challenges your opinion, your brain forms new connections. Even something as simple as laughing with a friend activates multiple regions of the brain at the same time. That's remarkable. What research suggests. Researchers have consistently found an association between chronic loneliness, social isolation, and an increased risk of cognitive decline later in life. Scientists believe several factors may contribute. People who feel isolated often experience higher levels of stress. They may become less physically active. They may eat less nutritious food. They may even sleep more poorly. And all of those factors can affect brain health. Loneliness isn't simply about being alone. Some people enjoy living alone and remain socially connected. Others may be surrounded by people, yet still feel deeply lonely. The key isn't the number of people in your life, it's the quality of your connections. Meet Frank. Frank lost his wife after 43 wonderful years together. For months, he rarely left the house. His daughter called often, but he insisted he was fine. Inside, he wasn't. Days blended together, meals became simpler, television replaced conversation, his memory seemed to become worse. Then one day, his neighbor invited him to join a local walking group. Frank almost said no, but something inside him said, "Just try it once." That single walk turned into weekly walks. Weekly walks became daily conversations. Daily conversations became friendships. Months later, Frank told his daughter something she'd never expected. "I finally feel like myself again." Did those friendships cure everything? No. But they reminded his brain and his heart what connection feels like. How to stay connected. The good news? Meaningful connection doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes, one conversation can brighten an entire day. Here are a few simple ideas. Brain-healthy connection ideas. Call one family member each day. Join a walking group. Volunteer in your community. Attend a book club. Join a church or community organization. Learn a hobby with other people. Meet a neighbor for coffee. Play cards with friends. Video chat with grandchildren. Even 15 meaningful minutes can make a difference. Remember, your brain grows stronger when it stays connected. Now, I want you to think about your kitchen. Open the pantry in your mind. Picture what's inside. Breakfast cereal, packaged cookies, frozen dinners, crackers, potato chips, instant noodles. Most of us have at least a few of these foods sitting on our shelves right now. But what if some of those convenient foods were quietly affecting your brain, one meal at a time? The next habit is one nearly all of us are guilty of. Habit number 5, eating too many ultra-processed foods. Let's play a quick game. Which would you choose? A fresh apple or apple-flavored snack cakes? Grilled salmon or frozen chicken nuggets? Oatmeal or a sugary breakfast pastry? The answer seems obvious, yet every day, millions of people choose convenience over nutrition. Not because they're careless, because life gets busy, and food companies have become incredibly good at making processed foods taste irresistible. What are ultra-processed foods? Ultra-processed foods are products made with ingredients you wouldn't normally use in your own kitchen. Artificial flavors, added sugars, refined starches, emulsifiers, preservatives, colorings. They're designed to last longer, taste stronger, and encourage you to eat more. Unfortunately, our brains weren't designed for this kind of diet. The brain loves real food. Think about your brain as a high-performance engine. Would you pour dirty fuel into a luxury sports car? Of course not. Yet every meal becomes fuel for your brain. Researchers have found that dietary patterns rich in vegetables, fruits, nuts, fish, legumes, and healthy fats are associated with better cognitive health as we age. On the other hand, a diet high in ultra-processed foods has been linked with faster cognitive decline in observational studies. Why? Scientists believe chronic inflammation, poor blood sugar control, and reduced nutrient intake may all play important roles. Your brain needs nutrients to build healthy cells. Healthy fats, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. When those nutrients are missing, your brain has fewer resources to work with. Foods that support brain health. Leafy greens, berries, nuts, beans, fish, olive oil, whole grains, lean protein. Try to fill most of your plate with foods that look, well, like food. The closer something is to how it appears in nature, the happier your brain is likely to be. So far, we've talked about water, sleep, movement, friendship, food. But here's something fascinating. Even if you improve every single habit we've discussed, there's one mistake that could still hold your brain back. In fact, many retired adults unknowingly stop doing the very thing that helped build their brains throughout their entire careers: learning. And what happens next may surprise you. Before we continue, I'd love to ask you something. What's one healthy habit you've started after turning 60? Maybe you walk every morning. Maybe you've given up soda. Maybe you've started gardening. Share it in the comments. Your idea could inspire someone else who's just beginning their own journey toward better brain health. And if this video has already taught you something new, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It helps YouTube share these videos with more people who may need them. The next habit has nothing to do with your body, nothing to do with your diet, nothing to do with your medications. Instead, it has everything to do with how often you challenge your brain. Because your brain follows one simple rule: use it or slowly lose it. And once you hear the story behind this next habit, you'll understand why some people stay mentally sharp well into their 90s, while others begin struggling much earlier. Habit number 6. Stop challenging your brain, and it starts slowing down. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you learned something completely new? Not something you already knew, not something you've done for years, something that challenged you, something that made you think, I'm not very good at this yet. If you're like many people after retirement, the answer might be, it's been a while. For decades, your brain had a job to do, learning new systems, solving problems, remembering appointments, meeting new people, making decisions every single day. Then retirement came. Life became quieter, more comfortable, and without realizing it, your brain stopped receiving many of the challenges that once kept it sharp. Challenge creates change. Think about your muscles. If you stop using them, they gradually become weaker. Your brain works in a remarkably similar way. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. It's your brain's ability to create and strengthen new neural connections throughout life. Here's the exciting part. For many years, people believed the brain stopped changing after adulthood. Today, researchers know that's simply not true. Your brain continues adapting throughout your entire life. But it needs a reason to adapt. It needs challenge. Not frustration. Not stress. Healthy challenge. Learning. Practicing. Exploring. Being curious. Simple brain exercises. Learn a new language. Take an online class. Play chess or checkers. Learn photography. Try gardening. Cook a new recipe. Check. Read books outside your usual interests. Check. Practice a musical instrument. Check. Write your life story for your grandchildren. Remember, your brain loves novelty. Every new experience tells it, keep growing. Now, there's one final habit we need to talk about, and unlike the others, you often can't feel it happening. It causes no pain, no warning, no alarm. Yet over many years, it can quietly damage the tiny blood vessels that keep your brain alive. Doctors often call it the silent killer. Habit number 7, ignoring high blood pressure. High blood pressure affects millions of adults. The challenge is, many people don't know they have it. That's why it's often called the silent killer. But here's something many people don't realize. Your brain depends on thousands of tiny blood vessels to deliver oxygen and nutrients every second of every day. When blood pressure remains high for many years, those delicate vessels can become damaged. Researchers have found that uncontrolled high blood pressure is associated with an increased risk of stroke and cognitive decline later in life. The encouraging news? It's also one of the most manageable risk factors. What you can do. Monitor your blood pressure regularly. Take medications exactly as prescribed. Reduce excess salt if your healthcare provider recommends it. Stay physically active. Maintain a healthy weight. Sleep well. Manage stress. And most importantly, don't ignore the numbers, because healthy blood vessels support a healthy brain. The 2-minute morning brain routine. Remember the promise I made at the beginning? Here it is. A simple routine that combines several healthy habits into just 2 minutes. No supplements, no expensive equipment, just 2 minutes. Minute 1. Drink 1 full glass of water. Not coffee, not tea, water. Give your brain the hydration it needs after a full night's sleep. Then, look around the room. Name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you're grateful for. This simple grounding exercise gently wakes up your attention and helps you start the day with awareness. Minute 2. Stand up. Stretch your arms overhead. Roll your shoulders. Take 5 slow, deep breaths. As you breathe, ask yourself one simple question. What's one healthy choice I'll make today? Maybe it's taking a walk, calling a friend, choosing fruit instead of cookies, going to bed 30 minutes earlier. Small decisions, repeated every day. That's how healthy habits are built. Before you leave, I'd like you to remember one thing. Growing older is inevitable. Growing weaker is not. Every single day, your brain responds to the choices you make. Not one choice, thousands of them. One glass of water, one healthy meal, one walk, one conversation, one good night's sleep, one new thing learned. These moments may seem ordinary, but together they become something extraordinary. They become a healthier future. You don't have to change everything today. In fact, please don't. Choose just one habit from this video. Start there, master it, then add another. That's how lasting change happens, not through perfection, but through consistency. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 habits are you going to improve first? Is it drinking more water, sleeping better, moving more, eating healthier, learning something new, or reconnecting with friends? Leave your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and your story may encourage someone else to take that very first step. If this video helped you, please give it a like. Share it with someone you love, because protecting your memory isn't just a gift to yourself, it's a gift to your family. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Every week we share practical, science-informed tips to help you stay healthy, active, and independent for years to come. Trust me, if you enjoyed today's video, you're going to love that one. Until next time, take care of your body, be kind to your mind, and keep creating healthy scenes in your life.